Let's talk about using Windows Phone in 2021.
Yo, welcome. So today we have something I will call blast from the past. It's the Nokia Lumia, let me say it, 930. Yeah, so this is not a review of that phone because it doesn't even make sense to today's world. But the thing is though, this operating system, this is the Windows 10 Mobile, which in the past used to be known as the Windows Phone 8.1 and Windows Phone 8. It was known as a Windows Phone operating system, and frankly saying, this was one of the most fantastic looking phones of that time, and to be honest, the operating system as well. It's kind of like this. It was one of the best shapes, one of a kind of a special food or a special recipe. But not a lot of people liked it, and most of the people went with the popular ones. And this one left abandoned. The Windows Phone went out of the market literally for a variety of reasons. And the first and foremost thing would be the apps, and probably the last one would be also the apps. There are a few things in the here and there, like the optimization, the Windows 10 Mobile update, to be honest. Like when the Windows 10 Mobile update came, it came with so many bugs that just literally botched the whole operating system. Like this operating system C, it's so beautiful, but it just got ruined. By what? Microsoft, the creator of this operating system. I think a lot of people will agree on this thing that when it was alive, a lot of people appreciated it in a way that it was unimaginable for a third operating system. Like this one, still today, it looks too modern to be called an old operating system. Just look at this. This is settings. And if you go to personalization, like lock screen, all these things, I mean, to be honest, this one still looks fantastic. Still, at this day and age, it still looks fantastic. Look at the lock screen. Like Google still can't figure out how the lock screen should be of Androids. Still today. This one was really private kind of operating system. This had more privacy features than anybody else. And at that time, I still can really recommend all these things to a lot of people. Like I used to call them like, hey, you want an operating system that is secure, that is not as vulnerable as Android? Well, here is it. This one, the Windows Phone operating system. Now, this is not a Windows Phone. This is Windows 10 Mobile, which Microsoft actually tried to make it think like this. Microsoft actually tried to compete with Apple so much that they just literally made it look like Windows 10, and there is the proper Windows 10. So, and they unified the ecosystem. They tried like with the Microsoft Store, and what all these things did was a beautiful operating system in the form of Windows Phone 8.1 turned into a buggy operating system that nobody want to use anymore because they already lack a lot of Google Play services like the Google's YouTube or Gmail or anything. All those clients are not there because Microsoft just intended to push their own things. So most of the time I thought like, okay, Microsoft is doing good. They probably can make it better. But Microsoft had a few other problems as well. And I'm not here to discuss all those problems, but this is the thing I just wanted to say. Now, I also timeline the part where I'm going to do the review. How it feels like when you're using a Windows Phone in the day and age of iOS and Android. I mean, 2021. So before explaining why I am still happy with a Windows Phone, yes, in this day and age, even though I use an iPhone, also Android, and who is this for now? So let me introduce myself first, okay? So me is a kind of guy who is not a social media addict. So I don't have Instagram on my phone. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Facebook. I browse them through web. That's what I do. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but that's what I want because I want to get rid of them. And that's the only way. If you have the apps, then you're probably going to get addicted. Anyway, the digital well-being, the screen time, this thing doesn't really make sense. Your phone, you can use it as much as you want. They are no one to restrict you, right? So here's the thing. I use them as a web, like Twitter for web, Instagram, kind of like web. Even though I have an app on my Android, that is just for like updating for you guys. So right now, this doesn't have the SIM card because my SIM cards are in my Android and iOS, and I can't really take them out just because of few things, because my payment applications won't work anymore. So these phones doesn't support VoLTE. So if that is what you want, it's not gonna work. But if you are someone who is looking for a phone that just do calls and SMS, it can really do. Now, here are a few apps that support still, like you can play games. The Asphalt 8 Airborne is still there. I can share you a little bit of a photo. You can still use it as like alarm clock. This alarm clock thing, let me say you, it is actually really great. Like when it starts, let's say I set an alarm for 7:45 a.m. and the alarm will start to buzz at 7:45, but a very little, like a very, very little. It won't even, you won't even think that there is an alarm going on, but slowly but surely in a minute it will go to the higher frequency or higher volume. So that means it will slowly make you wake up, rather than my Android that is just like, hey man, wake up. It's kind of like that. It's just too bad. Here it's great. Now here are a few other applications that still works. Like there is one calculator app, let me show you, that used to be named as Calculator Square. I still couldn't actually find out a good alternative of that application on Android, iOS, or anywhere. This one is the app. It's kind of like the scientific calculator and the standard calculator mixed into one. Now this phone that I'm showing you currently is Lumia 830. It is not a flagship phone. It has a Snapdragon, I forgot, 400 processor. It's still a lackluster phone, to be honest. Even the camera department, even though it is a good one, but it's not a great one. But I have something else that I need to show you, is this. This is the Lumia 930. This phone is the most beautiful phone I have ever bought or ever seen. If you don't know, when this phone was launched, Nokia already got sold out, and I was depressed by that, and this phone never got really kind of attention. And probably that's the reason a lot of people didn't even look at this phone. And those who knew about this thing, they appreciated this as much as I do. Like from a design perspective, it's an industrial design, and Lumia's usually had a great design, to be honest. Like their main selling point was the quirky colors like today's iPhones are bringing to your table, or even Samsung Galaxies. Those were the days where Nokia used to be so much colorful, like literally vibrant, colorful devices, like bright neon yellow, neon green, neon yellow, like bright solar beam yellow. But then again, you had these colors, and for this phone you had a green and you had orange, but I couldn't buy those things. Rather, I got the stealthy black. But I never found out like a black phone can be this beautiful. No man, I've never seen a black phone this beautiful. To be honest, this phone, even till today, holds its ground like crazy. Even though it has a thick bottom bezel at the top bezel, but that doesn't really make sense, man. It's so beautiful operating system. Like look at this live tiles that just kind of like changes over time, the colors, the beautiful, and not just these are not just the colorful backs and all those things. The system is also colorful. The system is so colorful and so futuristic even at that time. Like it still has a dark mode and light mode built in, like which Android is still struggling with. Like they have a dark mode, but it's still not a dark mode. Now it's just red and white. Whichever color you want, you have a lot of colors. You can set any background photo as the tiles background or background of the tiles, like whatever. You just get it. Like there are tons of customizations as well. Like a tons doesn't mean a tons, but there are a few restrictions. And if these tiles doesn't remind you of the iOS 14, I don't know what will. You know why? Because of the iOS 14 now supporting widgets, and that kind of reminds me of Windows Phone. So iOS is now modern day Windows Phone, and I really love iOS for that. But this operating system had so many things that are way better at the time, that now Google and Apple is also, no, you can't say copying it, but they are also getting inspired by that, which is fantastic, to be honest. This operating system was so efficient that even till today, with a battery size that hardly 2000 mAh, it still works great. Like, wow. I'm amazed with the operating system and the efficiency that comes with it. It's too good to be true. And on top of that, there was one other thing, that it was not a power-hungry device. So this phone had a Snapdragon 800. At that time, it was the 1-year-old flagship processor, because that time the Snapdragon 801 was in the market, which was not a huge improvement. But then again, yeah, you can say it. But this one was a flagship processor, whereas this one was way more cheaper. Like it's more like the iPhone SE and this was more of an iPhone 12 Pro. Didn't make sense at all, but just kind of like that. So it was the entry level thing, like it was the value flagship kind of thing at that time. So it has a Snapdragon 400 processor, but the phone still works exactly the same way. If I'm just, yeah. So the performance was never a problem with these devices. And I have few other Lumias as well, like I have few others right over there, but most of them are shut down for a variety of reasons. These two are alive and kicking, and they are working fine, so that's why I'm showing you these two. Now, when I started using the Lumia 930, I think 2 GB of RAM for this device is pretty much fine, because all the apps that it can load at the background, all of them are there, and you just can switch back and forth, and they are pretty much fine. And if it is just like cleared from the RAM, it just loads up like crazy. So with a flagship processor and 2 GB of RAM, this operating system runs crazy smooth, even at this day and age. Now, there are not a lot of applications that you can download anymore, because yeah, we know, but I still have some cute applications. The biggest problem that I am facing with this one, however, is the music streaming. That's the only thing that I really want, but it doesn't have, because it had the Spotify app, but that doesn't work anymore. It has no streaming music service available. Now, if I try to open the YouTube Music from, because I have a YouTube Music account, and why I love YouTube Music, check out this video if you want. And if I try to open the YouTube Music through the Edge browser, because the Edge browser is not supported, so you can't. So you have two options now. The two options are like Telegram. The one is Telegram. Now, talking about the Telegram surprisingly works perfectly, like pretty much perfectly. Except I think the calling doesn't work somehow, like the calls somehow doesn't work. Now, all the Microsoft applications works fantastically, beautifully. Now, there is one cool application that I just want to show you, is the Microsoft To Do app. Now, this one works here as well. Now, it is just crazy. Now, this one, however, I already have the sign in and things like that. I've already a few reminders right here. And when you look at this thing, you will probably think like, okay, but why do you use this one and you need this thing? Now, here's the thing. On my iPhone, I use the reminder application pretty heavily. Like, to be honest, it is the most notable application in my iPhone. Now, here's the thing. If you have the Microsoft account sign in your iPhone or iPad, if you set a reminder right here, you can actually get those reminders natively in the native reminders application by Apple on those devices. That is just cool. Like, I didn't know about that thing before a few days back when I was just scrolling through, and I suddenly found like, oh, there is a reminder application, let's download it. And I set a reminder right here to just check whether it's showing the reminder right here or not. And when it did, it actually showed a reminder on my iPad. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening? Why that reminder is over there? Then I looked at the settings application, and then I found out like, okay, so Microsoft account actually syncs the to-dos things over there as well, but the Google account doesn't. So if you have a Google Task application and you want to sync that with the Apple's own reminder application, you're out of luck. It doesn't work. You need the Google Task app. So if you want to use the Microsoft account for some reason, you have a luck. I'm really happy with that. I'm really surprised by this one. So my two things, the message and calling works. The third one, the reminder application, works as well. I don't game, so I'm not going to talk about gaming too much, but Asphalt 8 runs, and a few other games like a Sniper Fury or something like that. I forgot the name of the game, but it is like a gunshot kind of game, like a PUBG kind of like that. That game also works over here. Now let me talk about the camera applications. Now here are some of the things that Nokia at the time like released as an app now are used by Apple and Google. Now here's the one app called Lumia Storyteller. So it is kind of like this. If you take a photo here in Mumbai, and then you take some photos in Vegas, some photos in California, some in like where, like probably in Miami or Chicago. And if you just zoom out in the map, you can actually see which photos you're taken on that. So it will pin some of the photos on that location. So now I'm going to show you on the iPhone how it works. In iPhone, it's in the gallery, and in Google's, it's in the Google's Photos application now. But it had a separate application at that time. I'm talking about 2013. Now, not just that, there was also an app called Lumia Refocus. The Lumia Refocus still works because that's a camera application. Now, that application had a capability to refocus after taking the shot. Now, these are the things that we are seeing nowadays in phones, but Nokia had that thing. So Nokia was ahead of many other things, but now it's a dead story. Now, here are a few things that I just want to tell you. So now, if you are buying a Windows phone in 2021 for the sake of like your happiness or refreshment or something like that, don't go to the Microsoft Store and update. Otherwise, it will automatically do it. That's because it will block the Lumia camera application. Because the Lumia camera application, when I updated on my Lumia 830, it's saying like bye-bye. But on this one, because I haven't updated, you still have the application. It's the Lumia camera. You see that thing? Can you remember all these things? This is crazy good. This camera application works well, and I have actually 5 camera applications right now. There is Lumia Camera Classic, known by the name Nokia Pro Camera on the Lumia 1020. Now, this one, however, had so much controls over the capturing. I just don't have an idea like how Nokia did it at the time, like white balance, the focus, ISO, shutter speed, and also exposure. At the time, it was crazy good. Now, the Google's camera applications nowadays are more simpler, but they work good as well. So we don't need all these things. We don't need the manual photographies that much, because that's what the industry realized, that manual photographies on smartphone are really not needed that much, but we should have those things, right? There's one other thing that you can do is like you can browse for the websites. Like I do browse a lot, and I can still do browsing over here. Not the best experience because Edge hasn't been updated for a very long time, but that's the thing. There is one other application that I need to talk about is Cortana. The Cortana assistant doesn't work anymore because if you just do it, it will say that it doesn't support Windows Phone anymore. You see that?
Sorry about that. I did not hear anything.
Let's check out if Cortana works. What's the weather right now?
Right now, it is lightly raining and 30. The forecast shows partly sunny skies with a high of 33 and a low of 28, with a slight chance of rain.
Wait a minute. It shouldn't work. Like, it's showing me that it can't work on Windows Phone, but it's working. How is that? Like, wait a minute. On my other device, it was not working. Wait, suddenly. This is crazy. Like, I'm making the video and I realized that Cortana is working. Wait a minute. Let's try something else. 112 plus 112.
The answer is 224.
Man, who says Cortana doesn't work? Wait a minute. It's showing me the result like this. Just look at it. Okay. That's real bad. That's real bad for a reviewer. Okay? That's embarrassing. Because I tested this thing out on my Lumia 830 and it didn't work. And I never touched Cortana right over here and Cortana is working. I can't believe this thing. It's saying that it is no longer supported on Windows Phone but still working. Isn't that loyalty? You're still gonna be in my heart. You're still gonna be in my heart, but you know what? I love Siri as well. So, let's find out whether it can make a joke on Siri as well. Do you love Siri?
Sorry, Cortana is no longer supported on Windows Phone, but I can still help you on your PC.
So this is what it is. So Cortana partially is working. That's what I just found out while making this video. Yeah. Trust me, I'm a bad reviewer. Now, moving on to the camera application and all these things. The camera application works pretty much fine. And I have taken a few daylight shots and videos. It is super duper cool. Like, I can show you 2 photos that I took with the latest Apple device and the one that I took with this one. The difference is very minor. There is a slight bit of difference because the HDR processing is so good on these new generation Apple products. But it is nowhere just like ugly. It captures so good videos as well. Like the OIS is too good. Now it can't be compared with the OIS of the iPhones because that is just purely magical. This one, however, has the thing and it works. That's the only thing. When I'm capturing the videos though, I found out the bokeh is a lot more in this one than that one. That is just cool. Like I am thinking like I need to shoot a video using this one, but it will not, because in the night it tends to just generate a lot of noise, so I don't really like that thing, so that's what I probably ignore. But in the night you can still take good photos, good videos. I will show you a few photos there. It shows that Apple has way better quality, but that doesn't mean it lacks a lot. Like from a standpoint where the difference between these two phones are literally 6 years, but it still holds its ground. That's crazy. That's crazy good. Now it also has a lot of things. Like it also had the HDR processing used to named as rich capture. The rich capture mode actually used to be the HDR processing of that era. So what it does is like it takes few photos and stitches them like the way today's modern phone does, but it takes just a few split seconds, like 1.5 seconds, while these takes just 1 second. That's kind of crazy, but it does create good photos. Now I have taken few photos with my Android phone with Gcam and this iPhone and also this Lumia. What I found out, like my Android phone's Gcam sucks. Yes, my iPhone took great photos. That has qualities like it's somewhere in the mids. It's not cold, it's not warm, it's in the mids. It's the best photo. But this one is very close to that iPhone's photo, even in terms of details. But it's a little bit more to the warmer side than the cooler side. It's so great. Like even at this day and age, it's fantastic. It was a shot of a downtown building because I live in the downtown, so yeah, that's what the view is. So it looks good. It looks good, but in the morning, day-to-day life, if you take photos, this one still holds its ground. Now, on top of that, if you are thinking of the Google Photos application, well, June 1st is very near, and Google Photos will no longer offer you free storage, so now you have to pay. And if you pay, then you also have another option right here, the Microsoft Photos. This one, however, if you have the Microsoft account logged into here and as well as in a computer, you can actually it will sync in between. If you have a Samsung Galaxy, then your Samsung Galaxy Gallery also syncs with that one. So if you take a photo with this Windows phone, you can actually see them on your Samsung Galaxy phones if you have the same account. That's real good. The pricing is similar, so in that way, it's just great. Now you also have the OneDrive that works fantastically. Now that's why when I take a photo here on this Photos application, I can also see them on my other Windows phone. That's super duper cool because it works more like the Google Photos application, simpler. But Google Photo has option to compress the photo, where Microsoft doesn't offer that kind of thing, and Microsoft doesn't offer the AI things that Google offers, like editing or finding photos using the faces or something like that. That's the only thing. That's the machine learning thing. But other than that, you will also have the PowerPoint, Word, Excel. The whole Microsoft suite is here. Like you can use but you need the Office 365 for that. So if you are having the Office 365, then you also have a free photo storage as well. So that's that. There are other things that I just want to tell. Skype still works here. Telegram Messenger works, as I said, perfectly. I can message, like I do use Telegram over here for the sake of like the music kind of thing if I want to listen. You can also edit using a video tuner application, but that probably doesn't make sense because the video editing is very limited, but at least that time it used to offer. Now iPhone offers LumaFusion. I use LumaFusion to edit all these videos that you see, so iPhones are better. Like iPhones, that's what I think. The iPhones are modern day Windows Phone. To be honest, that's what it is. For a Windows Phone fan, iOS is the only option to go for. Like Androids are good, but just that doesn't mean Android is bad though. Even I am gonna be loving the Android 12 a lot more because that will also come with the unifying kind of thing on the widgets. So that is again Windows Phone-ish. Now if you talk about the weather application, the weather application works pretty much fine. It still like scrolls right here, there. It looks real great. And I mean, I would say this is even better looking weather application than the Apple's one. Definitely. Even the Google's one, it looks real good. Now, Windows Phone had few applications that are real good, by the way, like this battery application that was my favorite application since the start of using the Windows phones. Like this battery application, it was free forever and it was just great. So this one works as well. There are a few other applications that works, like the Files application from Microsoft that works, but not a lot of things. Like a lot of Microsoft apps also got killed in the process. Like the Xbox doesn't. Yeah, you can do the Xbox chatting, but you can't do anything else in that.
So here's the thing. The Uber application actually works perfectly on Windows Phone. I can confirm that thing. Like literally, I booked an Uber and it worked perfectly. Like the Android application. Like literally. It's so good. So in a way, Windows Phone is still a better choice than a dumb feature phone, to be honest. And I think also I forgot to mention about the keyboard. It is so good that it needs a separate minute to just talk about it. It's so good. The spacing between the keys or even the height of the keyboard is just perfect. I used to love this one and I really miss this keyboard on Android as well as iPhone. I think Microsoft should make a third-party keyboard for both the operating system, the iOS and Android, and I will totally switch to that one. It's so good. The sound and everything is just perfect. Literally, I miss Windows Phone.
You still have the Pixel application, it still works. It still works pretty much fine. So if you want a OneNote kind of application, like an alternative to Google Docs, here is OneNote. You can use it. OneNote still works fine, like fantastically fine. There one of the things that I just want to tell, the Outlook Mail, Outlook Calendar works, but somehow they are not working properly with Google's ID. I don't know what's happening with Google's right here. There is one application that you probably have forgotten about. It's the Mix Radio. Well, this one still works. Yes, it does. And I'm looking at the mirror when I'm just doing so. My eyes or something like here or there, like that. So it still works. You can still play music. I'm not going to play music, okay, because this is a copyright, but just, yeah, it works. Now, if you have the Music Match application, it still works. You can still see the lyrics of the song. That's real dope. I mean, it still works for some reason, like for some oddest reason, it still works. That is just amazing. To be honest, that is the coolest application I've seen. Like, yeah, look at that one. Look how cool it is. Isn't it cool? So yeah, that application still works. Now, here, one other thing that I just want to tell you, the Map application. The Maps application works perfectly fine. Like you can see some 3D buildings as well. And these maps are actually of Here Maps. They are not any kind of like from Google or something like that. They are from Here Maps, but these are the maps that are last updated in 2020. That's what I found. But you can still see live traffic. That is just so cool. Like I have tried it out and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I want the traffics, but it shows me the traffics. That's really cool. But I will still not recommend you to use it as a traffic kind of things. But this thing has everything. Like you still can use the navigation. It works great. It works fine. You have the voice thing, so you're gonna listen like the left, right. It will say you like the Google Assistant kind of thing. It works fantastically fine. The problem is just the musics. You have to download those musics offline for some reason to play them, or through the Telegram, like kind of like the cloud kind of thing, but it's not actually exactly cloud. You need a backup Android device which will download these songs, and then you will just play those right here, which is good though. Not a lot of things works. Like there are tons of applications that doesn't even work anymore. Here is one of the applications. It's called the Lumia Car application, Lumia Car app. This one works as well. Like if you want a quick call, you just put it on the dashboard. You can want a quick call, you want to see the weather, you want to see the battery life, it's there. So it's just fantastic application. This one works as well. So there are tons of applications that still works. You can watch some videos here. You can watch YouTube as well on Edge browser. The Here Drive Maps, Here Maps, they doesn't work somehow. Those applications are abandoned right now. But there is one app called Insider that you can still use for. You can also download some Bing photos and all those things. So yeah, that's probably it. You can just do calls and see calendars, do reminders. For me, it's a perfect device. I am on digital detoxification and it works fine. There is no problem in it. I haven't seen it. I can still use Telegram to like chat with my mom, dad, text my mom, dad, and call my mom, dad. That's all are possible. I can see the calendars. I can set reminders that will work as well as like here and my iPad and iPhone. It will have everything except 2-3 things. They're mostly like this, the video editing thing that I need my iPhone or iPad to do that. And the second thing would be probably the video shooting, and the third thing would be my payment application, the banking application, and all the payment applications are on my iPhone and I can't trust them on anywhere else. So I don't have them on my Android phone as well. So they are not here. They are not on the Android phone either. So I can replace my Android phone at any given moment with this one, because whatever I do, it pretty much works well. But for you, it might not, because if you are a social media addict or something like that, you probably need this phone. It may not seem a good phone, but you probably need this one, because you can go on a good digital detoxification easily without switching to a feature phone that lacks a lot of feature. You still have a powerful, capable phone though. This phone, however, is a fantastic phone, like a build quality wise. It's still premium, even though it's plastic, but it's not that kind of plastic. It's a very high-end plastic. It doesn't feel that. The sides are aluminum. Build quality is amazing. It will not break easily. The AMOLED screen on the top, it's just amazing. The colors, everything is super duper cool. The speaker quality is not that great, but you still have the support for headphone jack, which is good, and you can take out the SIM card tray that easily on this phone. Like, yo, it's that easy. Put back in. Just that simple. Good cameras. The selfie camera looks real ugly though, but when I took a selfie, it made me seem like I took this photo in 2013. Literally. That time I can feel that this one is from 2014, 2015. It feels like that. But when I took it like right beside my iPhone, it seems like that. But then again, this one works well. And for this kind of old phone with this kind of operating system, it still looks modern. It works fine. It doesn't have any kind of problem. The screen has no burn, and after all these years, it still have. You know what? Microsoft prioritized the search feature so much, the assistant feature so much, that they permanently made companies put a search button right beside the home button. And this one is a back button and also multitasking button. It also has the at that times iOS like multitasking, and you can swipe down to close rather than swiping up. Swiping up doesn't work. Swipe down works. That's pretty cool. Like, yeah, you have a great operating system. You had a great operating system. Not a lot of people liked it at the time because it was different than what the Android or iOS was offering at the time, because it was not made for everyone. So not everybody liked it, but I, or some people like me, those who are probably watching, you guys loved it. And we have a nostalgia thing that working like crazy. I've tested a lot about the browsers though, but none of them work like all of them are like the Edge browser. So there is no updated browser. But I'm surprised by the Cortana's response. Like, I didn't expect that. Nah. It was just like, oh my god, this was the most surprising thing in this phone as of now. Like, yeah. And to be honest, I paid a lot of high price for this phone to get it in superb condition. I was looking for this phone since the launch of this phone. It was the best looking Lumia at the time. I wanted this phone too much, and I couldn't even get it. Like, I couldn't at the time. I couldn't even get hands on this phone. Otherwise, I have seen all Lumias. I had a tons of Lumias, and I have used mostly all the Nokia Lumias, like all except this one. And now I have this one, and I'm super proud about it. So yeah, that's about it. So if you are using a Windows phone at this day and age, it probably won't be the best experience, but if you love Windows Phone, if you know what it is capable of, then you have the best experience that you will never forget. And that's why I'm gonna end this review. It was not a best review. It was not scripted. I thought about scripting this whole review, but then I thought like, no, I'm gonna just say using my emotion, because Windows Phone, like Android is on my hand and my pocket is the iPhone always, but in my heart is the Windows Phone. It's too much dramatic, but it is what it is, because I love Windows Phone this much. It's so beautiful. I want Microsoft to make Windows phones again in a different way, like squeeze the Windows 10 operating system in a lighter version, or make an app that will come in kind of like the Windows 10X. We will see what Microsoft is gonna do, because we are gonna see some of the things in the future as foldables are future. So yeah, we are bound to see something like this, but I will miss this thing. I will miss this thing seriously, because what it had was something really cool. Here's the thing: you still have the notification toggle. You can call it control center of iPhones. You still have these things, and if you have smaller DPIs, then you have this much toggles. Yeah, this is the thing. You can do it. You can fit more. You can fit a lot more tiles rather than this little. This little. Yeah. You can do that too. Like, that's great. It didn't have equalizer or brightness thing or even the screen calibration one, but because I'm on a Windows Phone geek, so I knew how to get all those things, because in the past I had installed them. So I went to the App Store and I searched for those apps, and I found out all those things. And if you don't know, you can actually get those things in the settings. Like, you go to the extras, and here is the color profile, which when I got the phone, I didn't have this color profile thing. Now I can just change how the color profile I want, like real simple. You just get the app and it will directly install in the settings. There was one app I can remember, it was named as Gesture Beta, that whenever you used to like get a call, you take the phone out of your pocket and put it on your ears directly. You don't have to just like receive the call, it will automatically get received. It was so cool at that time. I still can't believe those things are gone, those things are past. But now this one had glance screen as well, which nowadays we know as always on screen on Samsungs and whatnot. Even Apple is bringing those features. Yeah, they are still bringing, they still don't have those features, and Windows Phone had these things inbuilt. What are you talking about? This was a modern operating system that was built for us like people. But yeah, that's a sad story. So yeah, I just wanted to make a casual video on Windows Phone using Windows Phone in 2021. I hope you liked it. I'm also gonna make the alarm episode on Windows Phone, or even Nokia, for that matter, why Nokia failed and something like that. So keep an eye on my channel, subscribe for that. Like this video definitely if you like Windows Phone, if you like the nostalgia thing, as much as I enjoyed making this one. I hope you will like it as well. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys want to see more episodes like this and the alarm episodes, check out my channel, like this video, subscribe this channel, and that's about it. Bye and take care.